A victory here today will ensure Australia meets New Zealand, and after that it's really an uphill battle, you would say. They would have to play the CONCACAF runner-up and, of course, the third team from South America after that. But let's go through the team lineups, and first of all, the Tahitian team. And the axe has hit Tahitian football in a very big way this week. The coach, Francois Ferez, has been sacked and he's been replaced by former national team player Bernard Veart. Also, 3 new faces from last week, the goalkeeper Ricky Fassain and the strikers Gartien, the number 10, and Amaru, the number 11. Between them, just 2 international appearances for their country. Australian coach Eddie Thompson has been forced to make 1 change to the team, which defeated Tahiti 3-0 last week. Number 12, Ian Gray, comes into the team for Ernie Tapai, who is out because of illness. Gray will play at right back, and that means that Damian Mori will switch into the right midfield position. But certainly a formidable team there. The Australian Coca-Cola Socceroos have certainly found their mark, particularly in the last 2 weeks. It was a tentative start, you could say, against the Solomon Islands, the winner coming from Tom McCulloch, who's out, of course, for this series because of injury. And last week it was a great effort indeed, winning 3-0 away from home in Tahiti. And the referee today, Durakovic from Vanuatu. This is his first World Cup fixture and 9th international game. And a great day here, you could say, for football, Zlatko and Basic. The sun has disappeared. There's a bit of a wind going around, and I must say conditions are pretty good for football.
Yes, definitely good for football. It's a little bit windy. I don't know who that's going to favour. Obviously, the Tahitians don't play aerial balls too often, but we'll see how it goes.
But it was actually on this day 4 years ago when Australia played Brazil in the Seoul Olympics. And 2 days before that, they defeated Yugoslavia. So a few years on, the Socceroos are up here at Perry Park, the first World Cup international here. And of course, the first international since it was back about 1984 when they played China. And a couple of players were in the squad in those days. Ian Gray from memory. And I think you'll recall that Paul Wade was there as well. As we await Mr. Kolokis to get us underway. Carl Veart on the ball, next to him Mike Petersen, who had a great game. And Petersen looks straight away for Alastair Edwards on the left-hand side. And of course, a victory today will sew up this Group 1 of the Oceania qualifying phase. As Wade just knocks it back for Ian Gray, who's really determined to prove a point or two today. He looks again for his captain. And Wade, who's tagged by Leonard Layton, the most experienced player in this Tahitian team. Layton's played just on about 33 international appearances. And Paul Wade, the most experienced player, of course, for the Socceroos. He's played 56 full internationals and has scored 7 goals. Of course, he scored the 3rd goal last week. Again, Alastair Edwards, from a similar situation in Papeete, where Mori had come up for the header. He's gone near post and headed away by Layton. Durakovic. Petersen. And that's one thing they'll be trying to do today, is like the Tahitians play the offside trap, and that brought them down when Carl Veart scored in the last minute of the first half last week, and I'm sure they'll be concerned about that today.
Yeah, obviously that was a beautiful effort last week from Carl Veart to score. I think they'll be playing very attacking football, these Tahitians. They got nothing to lose. They have to win today. So we'll see how they do play the offside trap.
And judging by the changes, they're playing with 3 attacking players in Gartien, Amaru, and the captain Tunur. But on that far side, it's infringement picked up by the referee on Mehmet Durakovic. And Durakovic in a sort of unaccustomed position of left back. He usually operates in the centre of the defence, or sweeper, or right back. But with the likes of Vidmar, Van Blurk, and the left-sided players in Europe, there's plenty of positions up for grabs at this stage in the Coca-Cola Socceroos. And Alastair Edwards, who joined the squad in Tahiti last week. Veart was looking for Edwards, and now it's with Edwards. He's got Mori free on his right. Mori was screaming for the ball on the right-hand side. It didn't go to him, but nonetheless a pretty impressive move from the Coca-Cola Socceroos. Etaeta looks up, finds his captain in Tunur. That's not a bad ball at all. A good decoy run by Gartien. Gartien and Zabica. And Zabica gets found. Not enough power to really test out Robert Zabica. But Gartien, who's come into the side, is making his debut today. That was a good feint and a good turn, and not enough power in the end, though.
Yeah, quite a bit of skill there. I'm actually quite surprised. Beautiful turn there. Nice shot at goal, but could have been a bit better, but yeah, they're opening up quite well, these Tahitians.
Well, it was the first clear-cut opportunity falling to the Tahitian team. We could be in for an open game today. Edwards. Veart. A very physical challenge coming in from Layton. And they're looking for the switch for Luka on the left. Gray keeping close tabs on him. Luka and Gray. Back to Etaeta. Petersen just putting Temarii. And Mike Petersen unlucky not to score on 2 occasions last week. But he really had a great game in Papeete. Australia having a pretty good record this year in internationals. 16 matches, they've won 9 and drawn 2 and lost 4. A internationals, they've played 13, won 8, drawn 2 and lost 3. And that's not a bad little strike at all coming in from the captain Tunur. Of course, Zabica was right behind it, and John Tunur out to prove a point too. He was taken off during that game last week in Tahiti, and would have been demoralising for the captain. And Zabica having a bit of work to do early on. Interference from the people, but no one there for the Socceroos. Petersen hoping for Edwards. Too much behind that. And Tahiti, newcomers to world football, they only joined FIFA back in 1990. And for a population of around 180,000, there's only 4,500 registered players, but there is a 12-team national league. And that national league is in recess as the team is busy preparing and in the throes of their World Cup campaign. Their first ever World Cup campaign. I should point out that quite a few of these players have experience in France, because the winner of the League and Cup in Tahiti and the winner of the League and Cup in New Caledonia play in a round-robin tournament, and the winner goes straight into the 5th round of the French Cup.
Is that so?
And it's something that I picked up in my travels last week in Tahiti, but that is obviously a great opportunity for some of these players. And one of these players, Reynald Temarii, you'll look out for him, the number 14. He spent 2 seasons with Nantes in France, and a lot of these players are out to follow similar paths. And of course, the coach, the newly appointed coach, Bernard Raioha, he's related to Varuha, who plays in the French national team, cousins. It's with Ian Gray, 13th international. Wade doing well to evade that challenge from Rupena Raumati, and the flag's up for offside against the captain. And Eddie Thompson was talking about complacency not being a problem for his team this week. It's always sort of difficult, Zach, when you know you just need a win out of 2 games and you've beaten the team 3-0. I suppose deep down you know that you can probably do the job, but you've got to really be on the ball from the kickoff. Yeah,
obviously it's very difficult playing against teams which you're expected to win against, but there's a lot of competition up for stakes and a lot of positions available for a lot of players, so I think a lot of players are out there to prove a point, make themselves to cement a position in the team.
Well, 2 of those players from your Olympic team have done extremely well, Damian Mori and Carl Veart. Veart, of course, 2 goals in 2 appearances. Again, the predictable throw from Andrew Marth. We'll probably look for Wade here or Tobin. Wade was up there, but so was Layton. Now Petersen. Petersen was thinking of Marth. The flag goes up, and well, it was touch and go.
Touch and go.
The linesman, Jean Calmet, was right on the spot there. But Andrew Marth has really cemented his place in the centre of the defence, keeping the likes of Andrew Bernal and Darren Stewart out of this starting 11.
Definitely a good selection for the Australian team, Andrew Marth. I played against him once when he was playing for Sunshine George Cross a few years ago, and I found him a very difficult defender to get around.
Now Tobin, that's a beautiful ball. Veart's on the break. 7th minute in, Veart should make it 1-0, and just wide from Carl Veart. He did everything bar the final finish.
Yeah, I noticed he gave the touch too hard, the first touch. I don't know if that put him off, but he didn't strike that so well. Could have done a lot better from there.
Yeah, normally Veart puts him away. We'll see on the replay here. Veart, just the keeper to beat. He did all the hard work, kept his cool here, was unfazed, but the finish just too wide.
I think he picked the wrong corner.
That was easily the best chance of the game, but I'm sure that if Veart gets opportunities like that, he'll put away a couple of goals today.
Being a striker, I know a little bit about missing chances like that early in the game. I hope it's off his mind now and he just forges ahead, and I'm thinking, work hard and goals will come.
I didn't think you missed chances like that, Zabica.
Always do.
And of course, you're back home because you're in a bit of, well, you've got some problems.
I'm in limbo. I'm in limbo at the current moment. Yes, I'm just trying to work out what I really want to do with my career. And things aren't 100% at Mechelen, but I'll probably have a word with that with Les Murray at half-time.
That's fair enough, and hopefully you can sort it all out, because we've got now almost 40 of our players in Europe, and Carl Veart is one that would probably, I would think, follow a similar path to the likes of yourself.
Definitely. Yeah, he's definitely got the talent. I thought most of the boys who played for the Socceroos would deserve a contract overseas and would earn it. And obviously, here, because of these international games, they'll look good in his football resume.
Certainly will. Didn't harm the likes of Tony Vidmar and Milan Blagojevich. It's Veart on the ball now. That was late obstruction from Cyril Raioha.
Solid boy, isn't he?
A very solid boy. They're pretty strong in the centre of the defence last week. It was just the set pieces that brought them undone, and perhaps some man marking. But we've got to realise that they're only newcomers to international football, and as time goes on and we play more games against them, they're surely going to improve.
It's a rehearsed move that's gone wrong.
And Marth having a bit of a push and shove battle in the centre of that defence. Marth was held back there. Play continues though. Petersen. And flag up against Mori. And again, that was a close call.
Yeah, but he was definitely offside. I could see that from my eye point view here.
But Mori, he'll be happy to play in the right midfield position today.
Yeah, well, I know Damian quite well. I roomed with him in Barcelona, and he definitely likes to get forward, and he's very quick, one of the quickest players, solid, and I think he'll relish this position.
And one of the most likeable characters in Australian football too, Frogger.
Yeah, definitely a comedian, definitely character.
Milan Ivanovic across to Mehmet Durakovic. Like many players, just happy to be in that starting 11. Wade fighting hard, and he wins it for Edwards. Edwards looks up for support. Gray's free on the far right if they can get it across here. Petersen will look for him, and there it is for Gray. Mori on his right, and deep in the box is Veart. Gray, and no runners this time. And Ricky Fassain, the 20-year-old keeper, promoted today. Across to Jean-Pierre Teuira. 10 minutes gone in this game, as yet no score. Both teams with one chance apiece. And it hasn't been too bad a game. Temarii was hoping to find Etaeta. Gray there, of course. There was a bit of a virus going around the team during the week. Marth and Mori and Petersen were affected by it. Of course, Tapo was, and he's out of the game today. Durakovic. Never forget the sight of Mehmet Durakovic after that Solomon Islands game. He was so dehydrated they were thinking about taking him to the hospital. That's how hot it was. They'll be delighted to play in familiar conditions like this. Mehmet Durakovic. Looks up, looking for Wade. Wade is there for the Socceroos. Back now to Mehmet Durakovic. Low cross. Edwards was hoping that Raumati would leave it. Now the deep ball by Petersen, Mori, and the header by Gray. Not a bad header at all from Veart.
Beautiful goal.
1-0 Australia. Carl Veart, Johnny on the spot.
Yep, it's good to see that the goalkeeper dropped that ball. Fell beautifully there for Carl Veart. No mistake.
Well, 3 goals in 3 internationals for the senior team. And that's what he's being paid for. Beautiful ball by Petersen. And we've got to pay credit for the header here from Gray, putting the pressure on the keeper. And Veart was there, of course, to stick it home. 1-0 Australia.
A natural score and a definite sniffer.
And that's not a bad camera angle as well. And Carl Veart will not forget this series the rest of his days. 3 goals in 3 appearances. The boss can't ask for much more. Gray. It's not a bad one for Mori, but Lupas was pretty nippy as well.
I think Eddie Thompson will be happy with the start. That's quite an early goal.
It certainly is.
It could really open up the game.
victory today will ensure a meeting with New Zealand. That'll be late May next year. And having spoken to Eddie Thompson, he's confident that he'll get quite a few of his overseas-based players for that game. And there's talk of the Coca-Cola Socceroos playing against the United States around that time as well, which would be a good hit-out if they can line it up beforehand.
Well, we saw in the last qualifiers how New Zealand can upset Australia, so definitely there's no way he's going to go there with an understrength team. He has to go in there with his full best strength team.
Certainly is, and of course, you recall that the last time we played a World Cup qualifier was in Sydney. The 1-1 draw knocked us out against Israel. Israel, of course, are in Europe Group 6 with France, Austria, Sweden, Bulgaria and Finland. With the end grey now for Wade. Beautiful ball. A lovely ball indeed, wasn't it, Zlatko? Gray looks up, was hoping for the near post, and it was just too hard for Petersen to get back onto. Temarii cheekily back. Luka, and just the final touch letting him down. And again, the offside trap, they've really played it well today, haven't they?
Well, I can see what you meant when you asked me that question about the offside trap. Yeah, well, they play it quite well. It's good to see. Not for the Aussies, though.
Not for the Aussies. But you're not a parochial person, are you, Zlatko?
No, not a nationalist, no.
Teuira on that right side. And, well, Amadou was taken out late, but the referee allowed play to continue. Wade was thinking about Veart. Now Durakovic. It's done a bit of overlapping down that left side. The wide players have been busy today, Gray and Durakovic.
You definitely get the ball out wide. It's good to see from the Australians, some good play.
Petersen taken out, and the pitch in absolutely marvellous condition, considering they've had a full season of State League football up here at Perry Park. And Australia are leading by 1-0. Carl Veart, the scorer, in the 12th minute, and I'm sure that all his family and friends back in Adelaide would be delighted. Of course, Veart was born in Whyalla, and so was Ivanovic and Alastair Edwards. As Wade gets up again, unselfishly back inside, but there was cover there for Tahiti. And Luka and Marth. Marth was the man pinned for the challenge.
It's always nice to see boys you played with score goals, and it's good that Carl came back from that little mishap that he had in that first few minutes there when he missed that easy opportunity, but it's good to see he scored. I think he'll have a good game now.
There's no doubts about that. He could have put away a couple more last week in Tahiti as well. But it's the sort of start Eddie Thompson was hoping for. Petersen to Edwards. Gray's across here. Wade. Coca-Cola Socceroos are playing well.
Good passing there.
Gray trying to take Luka on. Luka's a pretty seasoned customer. The linesman had flagged. Referee allowed play to continue, and it's an Australian throw. There's been a growing dilemma for Eddie Thompson, the right back and left back position. Of course, the left midfielder and striker's role as well. Now Raumati, he looks up and he finds Harold Amaru. Tunor has got one to chase. Not a bad move at all from Tahiti, but just that final touch. Again, a similar pattern to what we saw last week in Papeete. Once they get into the Australian defensive third, just that last touch letting them down. And I suppose you put it down to inexperience as well in international football.
You're always quite strong there at the back. Milan Ivanovic, a lot of experience. It's always going to be difficult against him.
Of course, Alex Tobin today is playing his 25th international for the Coca-Cola Socceroos. Well, there's not too many men up there for this free kick, which surprises me. We'll probably try the long-range shot, which Zabica had one moment of concern last week, and there was no real trouble for him there. Zabica, again, aiming for Edwards. Teuira right on his back. Veart. Good nod on for Edwards. Wade is square, and Mori is there as well. Wade should go for it. He tries to chip the keeper. Not a bad idea at all from the captain.
Oh, it's nice to see.
It was a good idea.
Good idea, definitely. A lot of confidence there.
When the keeper, Fassain, would have expected Wade to perhaps knock it square to Mori, who was free, Wade had really had to go for it from there. It was a great idea.
Wade did a dink, and then he decided to chip it off.
Petersen. Got Gray, but he plays it safe. Marth. Again, a familiar pattern down this right side with Wade getting together with Ian Gray. And it's a throw in for Australia. And will Marth take it? Wade wants it. But Gray can throw long. They can all throw long. Now Marth. Petersen. And he was hoping for Mori, but Mori was coming back, and again the offside trap.
And that's been the fifth offside rule for Australia. I've noticed on the right-hand side here that Australia are really building up well, and Paul Wade and Ian Gray definitely doing well.
They've combined extremely well. And again, Petersen, they've really taken a liking to Petersen because they know that he's a good ball player and he provides the attacks of Australia with a lot of impetus, and he plays some good balls, and already he's been fouled about 4 times now.
They've obviously analysed their last game and they've seen that, yeah, he's a definitely good ball player, so they're going to have to put him out of the game.
Well, Wade was pushed off the ball by Temarii. A good decision by the referee. Kalokis from Vanuatu.
Definitely a hard name to pronounce.
Could be worse. It could be Aaron Basic. Now, what's in a name anyway? Mike Petersen on the ball. Teuira getting his team organised. Edwards makes the run. Petersen. We're hoping for Mori. Now Edwards again. They're all running out, the Tahitians. Durakovic is on. Well, I thought Durakovic was onside that time. Durakovic looked up and he knew he was onside, and he's got every reason to be disappointed there. And Mehmet Durakovic had realised basically what they were doing there. And
he came from deep. It was a clever ball there. I could see them two looking at each other, and I definitely timed it well. Pity was just called offside.
This is a great run from the former Nun player Temarii. But every time he gets into these situations, he doesn't really have too much support. Gartien gets it back. Raumati was hoping for the long drive. But
a little bit ambitious.
Very ambitious. And Edwards only has Veart ahead of him. And Veart again taken out. And it wouldn't be surprising if the referee brings out the card again soon. Edwards easily evades Etaeta for pace, but too much behind the ball. Layton came across. Now Etaeta. Easy interception for Wade. And again, now there's just been a bit too many fouls. I think the referee's got to pull the card out. Do you think, Zako?
Yeah, well, I was going to actually comment on that. They're quite physical, quite strong, and well, there's been a few hard challenges.
They weren't that physical last week, but they're getting desperate because they know that Australia are getting into situations where they can put a few chances away. And Petersen again looking and hoping for Tobin. A good jockeying by Tunu, and Alex Tobin, a real fixture in this team. Made his debut back in '88 against Chinese Taipei. He's 25th A International. 30 minutes are up. As you can see, the Coca-Cola Socceroos are leading by just the 1 goal. It could have been 2 or possibly 3. Ivanovic.
Australia definitely controlling the tempo of the game.
It's I don't want to be too critical, but it's more like a training run. You get that impression. Veart. And that comes off Lupas, and Fassain keeps it in. Good work from the keeper.
I obviously can't afford to be too critical in my position, but
No.
But yeah, they're going through the motions a little bit.
They're knocking the ball around well, but
they're knocking the ball around well, keeping possession, but there's no real super thrust forward.
And offside against Tunor, and that didn't look like an offside to me either. Marth across to Gray. Marth wants it back, and he'll get it. Petersen. Good ball for Gray. And Mori just the control, letting him down. Raumati looking for Tunor. Good challenge from Alex Tobin. Petersen. Marth. There's not really much there for Gray, except for Mori. That's
one,
great.
two.
It's a beautiful move. Mori back for Petersen again. Wade, and good cut-out work from Amaru. Durakovic. Luka up, and there was plenty of support for Tahiti. Temarii across now to Teuira. Temarii, the playmaker for Tahiti.
Great ball.
Beautiful ball. One for Teuira to chase, and so is Gray. And there's not really many Tahitian players forward. Gartien looking for Teuira again, and it was always going to be a tough job for him. Jean-Pierre Teuira usually plays it right back. He's switched to the left. So Australia have scored now 6 goals in 3 World Cup qualifying matches. And goal scoring had been a major problem for the team, particularly with the likes of Arnold being based in Europe, and before him Rosmina, who'd retired. It looks like they found a man in Carl Veart, 3 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, definitely, he's doing well.
That's unless he goes overseas as well.
Yeah, that's the probably likely outcome of what's going to happen in Carl Veart's life. Definitely a potential overseas player. But I think I know Carl quite well, and from the Olympic Games though, and I know his line of thinking, and he's really a homegrown boy. He loves Australia, and I think he'd probably want to stay here up until after the World Cup, and if he's selected in the squad, and then I think he'll make a move then if the right thing comes along, the right club.
There's some real concern there for Cyril Raioha. A youngster of great potential, is just playing his 3rd game for Tahiti, and he could be replaced. It looks like the signal's gone out to replace him, and let's just hope it's not too serious. We're just trying to work out exactly which player would come on for him, but he looks in all sorts of bother there. And that'll be a real blow for them, because he's a tough man in the centre of the defence.
Looks like there could be a little cut there.
So this is Australia's 61st World Cup match. And Eddie Thompson, as you can see on the bench, will be fairly happy. 1-0. This their 61st World Cup match. And his assistant coach isn't there today, but his assistant coach was the first man to score for Australia in the World Cup back in '65 against North Korea. Les Scheinflug, who's away with the young Socceroos out in Venezuela for a youth tournament.
Where the Australian senior team will obviously have to find out whether or not they're going to go to the World Cup once they qualify for the first few stages. Definitely, I think the Australia building up to those games to be playing out there too.
Well, I'm just trying to check and see who the change is, if in fact there has been a change. I can only count 10 out there, so they're hoping that he'll be all right to continue, but it will be a big blow to their team if Raioha does not continue in this game. As the sun comes out here at Perry Park in Brisbane. For this FIFA World Cup qualifier, the Coca-Cola Socceroos are leading by 1-0. In it comes. Tobin was fighting hard. Great play by Teuira. Although put the Macha on him because the pass was too much. Onside. Well, onside. I thought Wade was offside. Wade looks up, square inside, but not hard enough for Veart, and the keeper was there again. Well, it looked like Wade was in an offside position, and there just wasn't really much of a chance for Veart getting on the end of it.
Veart made actually a very good run, I could see, and it's a pity that poor Wade didn't pick him up.
It was unselfish too. I thought maybe Wade might have gone.
Yeah, he could have cut in and had a shot himself.
They're still with 10 men. Tahiti, Raioha still off. Marth. Too much behind that as well. He's looking for the runner again.
A little bit disappointed with that.
Veart, and yes, maybe he should have done better there.
Saw him clutching his face there. Wasn't too happy. Good skill.
Looked like the ball was out, but play continues, and that'll be out this time. Too much of Teuira. But just, I was mentioning earlier, this is our 61st World Cup match, and Australia have won 24 and drawn 20, and lost 15, and scoring hasn't been that much of a problem. They've put away 110 goals over the years, and conceded 63. But scoring's been a little bit of a problem today, Zlatko, with the half chances that Australia have had.
It's still early days. You never know.
Plenty of time.
There's plenty of time.
This was a familiar pattern last week, as a pretty committed challenge came in from Layton on Mori, and Mori has some doubts about that one.
He's not one to normally complain.
No. So. We'll have a look here. Layton came in.
Oh, definitely.
Mori, well. Let you be the judge. Edwards looks up, and Marth again is at the near post with Tobin. Here comes Fassain, has come out for it, just parried it. And again, another corner, this time on the far side.
Wasn't a very good attempt there from the goalkeeper.
No, it's the second one he spilled too. The first one, of course, resulted in the Veart goal.
Such a young age, it's probably his first game, I believe.
It's his 5th appearance and first World Cup game. And what a game to play in, and Veart. Very good attempt. The angle was pretty tight. And Carl Veart, the third opportunity for him in the game.
Could have had a hat-trick already.
Could have had a hat-trick. As you say, there's plenty of time left for that. And I'm sure if they provide him with enough chances, he'll put away 3. There's just on 5 minutes of normal time left in this first half. The Coca-Cola Socceroos are leading by just the 1 goal. Wade. Edwards has to fight hard for it. Good challenge from Amaru. And some of the fans not too happy with that decision. Amaru is the man on the ground, the debutant. Rather, his third appearance, I should say. It's Gartien, number 10, who is debuting. He doesn't play in the National League, Amaru. He's from the First Division. Roe is the team that he is with. So Etaeta will take the free kick. And Tahiti are still down to 10 men. Now Veart, the keeper coming off his line, as he had to, and Edwards Crossed away, the keeper scrambling to get back, but he has enough time. Mori, Veart and Edwards are in the box. And now Veart trying to lay it on for Gray, and it was just cleared away by Layton. It was a good idea. It was a great idea. And it looked like Gray was going to come through for it too.
Yeah, just that little bit extra of a touch he needed. A bit more pace.
Gray. Great ball by Ian Gray.
Definitely covered him up on the right.
And the deep ball again, but not deep enough really, too close to the keeper. This time he does extremely well, but the throw was pretty keen because Temarii was surrounded by 3 or 4 of the Socceroos.
Lead-up's been pretty good, both on the left-hand and right-hand side. It's just the final ball. It just hasn't been too clinical.
Marth looking for the 1-2, which came off. Durakovic chasing down on Etaeta. And that'll be a throw for the Socceroos. Now Marth. They're very committed to their challenges, and so is Andrew Marth, though. Temarii. Cross now to Gartien. And of course there's plenty of numbers always in cover for Australia. They're really sort of lacking ideas up front, Tahiti. There's not really much up there for them.
I think we could put that down to solid Australian defence.
Yes. It's been one of the features of the Australian team in recent years. This year in those 15 matches the Australian team has played, they've conceded 8 goals, which is a pretty good record indeed.
And it's been against some quality countries.
Yeah, it certainly has. Croatia, Sweden, Argentina, Uruguay. Tobin up. Edwards. And the draftsman from Adelaide City finds his teammate. What a year it was for Adelaide City. Cup winners and final winners, Veart. Petersen got it on for Marth, and now it's back again with Ivanovic. Petersen has a bit of room. Unselfishly back for Marth, who's got a pretty good, well, he's got a good shot from that sort of range. Ooh, what a drive from Andrew Marth. Just a minute before the break.
Some good lead-up work there too. It was actually a very good shot.
Superb strike on goal. He should be happy with it, really. He was closed down by Layton. And just a short backlift, really, and he got so much power behind it. And not a bad attempt at all. There's only been really 4 good chances for Australia, and one has resulted in a goal as Petersen gives him a nudge. Ian Gray, who's seen a lot of the ball today. Petersen. Again, it's back for the Marconi man, Ian Gray. Mori. We're playing stoppages, and there's about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. They're still playing with 10 men, Tahiti, desperate to ensure that Raioha gets back into the game in the second half. Gray against Teuira. Gray gets around him, and the ball wasn't too bad, although Etaeta was there. And I've got to pay credit to the Tahitians because they've been covering up at the near post. As you can see, the 45 minutes are up. Just the 1 goal splitting the teams. Edwards. Again, the keeper should have no trouble, which he does. I'm surprised that they haven't brought on a substitute, because it must be very serious if he can't come back into the game unless they're stitching him up and saving him for the second half.
I definitely can't see no logic in what they're trying to achieve there.
Surely a replacement. Your World Cup qualifying game. Tahiti have got nothing to lose. A victory here really would make it an open group.
I think he's been off for about 10 minutes now, is it?
Yes, he went off in the 36th minute. We've had 46.5 minutes of play. Oh no.
That was a fair challenge.
He went for the ball. But Wade won't argue. He'll be disappointed and he'll just accept the decision.
Definitely doing a lot of running there for the Australians, Paul Wade, I've noticed today.
And it was much the same in the first two games, in the Solomons and of course in Tahiti. And they're in a bit of trouble there, that the old back pass rule, they were knocking it around amongst themselves, but that in fact is the half-time whistle. So with a half that started so well for Australia, Carl Veart had made it 1-0 in the 12th minute. And after that really, Zlatko, I thought Australia perhaps should have grabbed at least 2 or 3 goals, but Eddy Thompson, knowing Eddy as you do, will be saying quite a few harsh things to the players at half-time.
I think he'd be happy with the way it's going. It's 1-0, as you said, it's an international game, and 1-0 is as good as 6. But I mean, Australia's pushing forward. They're building up well. It's just that they're not actually, that final ball is not coming in, and obviously they're not scoring as many goals as they could. But it's going along. I can't really see the Tahitians scoring, and I just think Australia would just like to get a little bit more into a different gear, and obviously maybe put in a goal and to certify definitely that they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think Australia will win, there's no doubts about that, but Eddy Thompson will have a few words to say, as would Les Murray, who's down on the sideline at the moment with one of the reserves today, of course, the Sydney Olympic.
Side trap in that first half. Well, in the gallery today, obviously because he does live in this city, is Alan Hunter, who is former Socceroo and currently with Brisbane United. Alan, thanks for joining us today. Your impressions of the first half. You've played a few Socceroo games in your time, and you know that the offside trap is a frustrating tactic.
Yeah, it is very much so, Les. As we've heard in previous results, New Zealand 0-0 with Fiji, so once again we see that it's difficult playing against lesser opposition. We're doing everything right. I think, as has been mentioned before, we have to just, I think, work on the last ball. Some of the crosses have been a little bit poor, so we've just got to be patient and get on the end of a couple of crosses, and I think we'll get another couple of goals this half quite easily. Okay, now you've played against New Zealand and of course teams of this kind down the years. New Zealand now looms as quite a force, quite a formidable side from what we're hearing, even though they could only manage a 0-0 draw with Fiji. How should we look ahead to those games? Yeah, well, once again, they've always proved a very, very difficult team. It's a real rivalry with the Tasman thing there. But no, we haven't got anything to worry about if we stick to our game plan. Tomo knows New Zealand very well. He's been around for a few years. These guys have performed very well previously against New Zealand, and we just knock the ball around and play to our strengths. There's not really many teams in our side of the world that can beat us, really. So I think we'll get through quite comfortably.
Alan, this is a new Socceroo side, as you'd be aware. What are the qualities that this side has that you particularly like, that maybe previous sides didn't have?
I think very much so. They're a very fast side. You've got a lot more pace. You've got guys like Damian Mori, and I think the skill level's really picked up. The coaches have been working on that over the years, and I think you see Australian players now from junior level are becoming much more skillful. They can juggle the ball on the back of their head and all these sorts of things. So I think that sort of thing's really improved, and I think we're going to get even better for the next years to come.
All right, Alan. Well, it's good to see you back in the tracksuit, and look forward to seeing you on the field for Brisbane United this year.
Thanks very much, Les. Certainly will.
Okay, that's Alan Hunter, former Socceroo, and of course of Brisbane United. Let's go back now to Andy Pascalidis.
Yes, we're certainly underway here in the second half. The Coca-Cola Socceroos running from the right to the left-hand side of your screens and having a good look around. There's no changes to the Australian side, and Raioha, the good news for the Tahitian team is that Raioha, the number 4, is back in the game for his team. He was off the pitch after copping a bit of a knock, and he was away for the last 10 minutes of the first half, which surprised quite a few of us here at Perry Park. As Ivanovic came in with a two-footed challenge, which the referee wasn't happy about. And today's match is Australia's 266th full A international. And since we lost to New Zealand in our first match back in 1923, we've won 120 games, drawn 59 and lost 86. And those statistics are proudly brought to you by our researcher, Lou Gautier, who does a great job for us at SBS. And the job at hand here for the Coca-Cola Socceroos is to put some goals away and get some good practice in with the Solomon Islands. Of course, the match next week in Newcastle, and the likely scenario, of course, Australia winning here and going on to face New Zealand in May. But yet another stoppage, and I think Australia really have to put away some chances to get some confidence up, and particularly for a lot of these players, they want to prove a few points to Eddie Thompson that they should be considered for future matches involving the World Cup side.
Obviously, with so many foreign players playing abroad now, the Australian team, a lot of these players know that when these guys come back, they'll gain more or less automatic selection. And I think players up front are definitely going to have to put the goals away if they want to have an outside chance of being selected.
It's a really difficult situation too, because the local players get upset as...
that was silly.
Well, Mike Petersen, let's hope that it's not too serious for him. Jeez, and Mike Petersen, you don't have to be a lip reader. He's sent him off. That's unbelievable. Surely not. Has he given him a red card?
Who's he sent off?
He sent off Mike Petersen because Petersen got upset about the challenge, and he's shown the red card. This is really inexperience from the referee. It might be Mr. Kolokis's first World Cup match in 9th International, but this is the most amazing thing I think I've seen in all my time as a soccer journalist covering Socceroo matches. And Mehmet Durakovic can't believe it. Petersen has been shown the red card.
I think he'd be really angry with that. That's so silly. That's unbelievable. And stupid.
It was a red card that he showed him. And he's telling him, yes, the dressing room. Yes, the dressing room. Off you go. And that is really unbelievable. Well, the referee had pulled up play because Wade was being battered when the ball was loose. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Petersen copped a late challenge. A very late challenge.
I'd like to have a look at that one more time.
And Mike Petersen, and I really have to side with the Socceroo. I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that. Petersen copped a late whack, and the referee has shown him the red card, and this is just absolute tragedy. Now there's Wade there. He went down and he was... Look at this. How many kicks is that? Look. And then we'll see it again, hopefully on replay. Now it's a difficult angle, but... Australia are down at 10 men. And, well, all of us here are just... We just can't believe it. And that's really going to cause Australia some problems, 10 against 11. And Mike Petersen, Eddie Thompson has every reason to be disappointed with that decision.
That definitely puts a new complexion on the game now.
A very new complexion indeed. And the Socceroos, they hadn't been booked in 2 previous qualifying matches. Mike Petersen has shown the red card. That is unbelievable.
I don't know if me discussing about yellow cards and all that brought about omen, but no, definitely something's not right there.
Well, Petersen was frustrated, and 99 times out of 99, I would think referees allow a bit of frustration to go because it's just a natural reaction to copying a strong physical challenge, particularly like the one that he did. And the referee, I don't know if he's had any football experience himself, but he didn't really do the right thing there.
I think it's obviously something
no empathy at all, because he should have put himself in the player's situation. And that really, unfortunately, has spoiled what had been a pretty easy roller coaster ride for the Coca-Cola Socceroos. But I still think that they'll finish on top in this game. In fact, if anything, that send-off should really spark them now and lift them up. And there's still silence around this ground. They can't believe it. And Well, 6 minutes into this second half, and this is really going to test the mettle of the Socceroos, and we know about their fighting character and ability to come back when the chips are down. They are leading by 1-0, but they're playing with one man less, Durakovic. And Tobin away, and what you'll find now, Edwards will come straight back into the midfield, and only Veart will stay as the target man, and they'll just hope to hit Tahiti on the break or try and put away another goal in a set-piece situation.
I think they'd be definitely looking for one more goal, so that would definitely clear up the situation of the game. I definitely can't see Tahiti anyway, by no means coming back if it's 2-0.
Well, let's continue on anyway. Australia are leading, and maybe those chances that they had to add another 2 goals, hopefully they won't go against the Coca-Cola Socceroos, but nonetheless, I've been trying to recall the last time a Socceroo player was sent off, and can't recall any send-offs this year. Veart. He's got Mori on his right. Oh, good play by Veart. Good possessional play. Gray. And, you know, there's no doubts about the foul there. And,
will he give a red card?
I don't think he'll pull the card out, but Australia will get frustrated too if this sort of physical style continues in the second half. We noticed for say the last 15-20 minutes of the first half, Tahiti got a bit physical to try and break up those free-flowing movements of the Socceroos. Let's hope the match doesn't get spiteful, because there hasn't been real spite aside from, well, I thought Way was really hard done by in that challenge which resulted in the Petersen send-off. Marth gets up, Mori back inside, and Veart laying it off for Marth. Oh. And there was the opportunity to make it 2. And Marth, we saw him in the second half, let fire with a beautiful shot, and he was really going for the glory goal, you could say, Zlatko, but defenders in that sort of range, they're going to go first time. But a lot of unselfish play here when you would have thought that perhaps some of the players would have gone themselves. Mori back inside, and the layoff by Veart.
Beautiful layoff. I think he just wanted to hit a little bit too hard. I was just thinking about the situation right now. I think the referee probably in his mind, he'd probably like to even it up, sending off the Australian player, and if the Tahitians continue to be so aggressive on some situations, maybe it will even itself out.
Well, I saw Petersen. Petersen was very frustrated. He said a few words. I don't know what they were, but it was more at the challenge. It wouldn't have been directed at the referee. That's where the referee should have just calmed him down and perhaps even given him a yellow if he was upset that much. But now Milan Ivanovic, the former Red Star player. Mori got up there, and he'll kick that in, will he? He does. He looks for Veart. There was not enough bite behind that, and in the end it was Layton who got it away. So the throw-in for Australia, the Coca-Cola Socceroos. They're up by just the 1 goal. Mori, great play. Damian Mori, was he clipped? The referee says no, it's still loose. Oh, this one in front by Veart. Well, I thought Mori was clipped on the way through.
Damian definitely will kick that.
Mori was clipped. Although Veart really should have put it away in the end, but you look here on replay, there's a great run by Mori.
Did well to keep it in there. Oh, definitely.
Definitely a penalty.
Definitely a penalty. The Tahitian defender.
Veart should have stuck it away. Don't want to be too critical of Carl, but they're the sort of opportunities that you have to put away in World Cup football. But here's another chance. 10 or 11 in Australia, creating better chances. Marth back inside. Again at the back post. My, oh my, within the space of 3 minutes, Australia could have scored 3.
The sending off has definitely sparked the game up for Australia.
Yes, well, it should have too, because the players would have been disappointed deep down, but great run here. And Andrew Marth has been so involved in the attacks, and it was a very difficult one because it took a deflection in the defence of Veart there. It would have just thrown him off at the last minute.
Some really meaningful runs coming forward from Australia.
Well, three of the best chances have come in the second half for Australia, aside from that open opportunity before Veart scored in the 12th minute. But that was an amazing sequence of play. Within 2 minutes, Australia had 3 opportunities. It'll only take one more goal and Australia can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe in that type of thinking too. I think so. Just one more goal for Australia, and that'll be enough.
Well, the way they played in the second half, there's every indication that goal will come, but the big question, of course, is when. And that's a beautiful run from the captain. Again, he's made a few of those deep runs inside. Up went Raioha, Edwards. Now Marth, and he was floored, and that should be, well, he's given a red card for Petersen. That is really a yellow card offence. Marth was on his way to goal, and in all the captain goes in the book. And the referee has to be consistent here. We've seen that a few times. And Andrew Marth is playing a key role in the second half.
Definitely
involved. Not as a defender. Not as a defender.
He's got a good shot too, and it's in striking range. I don't know who's lining up here, but
I wouldn't be surprised if Marth does have a go. He'd be pretty confident about it, the way he's been playing in the second half. And that's the beauty of this team when you think about it, the men who can strike a ball from this range. Edwards, Mori, Marth, Durakovic, Gray, Veart, they can all...
Too many to name.
Does Zabica strike it from there? They'll have to go for the direct shot, or will they look for the runners? Because Wade's pretty deep. It's with Edwards. Always going wide, Alastair Edwards.
There's a sweet left foot.
Certainly has, and he's put a couple of goals away for Australia. 2 goals in 10 internationals. This is his 11th international, but no real threat for Fassain in the Tahiti goal. Great challenge by Durakovic. Now Wade. That's a beautiful ball for Edwards. Edwards and Etaeta. Good cross.
That was a better cross.
Better cross, and the keeper did well. Chasing down by Edwards on Amaru. He kept his cool and finds Layton, most experienced player. Really, that was a bad ball across. At the moment, Tahiti are down to 10 men as Lupas has gone off for some attention. So it's 10 on 10 at the moment. Mike Petersen sensationally sent off in the 3rd minute of play. I'll be talking about that for a long time.
The question in my mind is, will Eddie Thompson bring on someone else soon? They're then down to 10 men. Obviously, there's going to be some weary legs.
Well, the only real defensive player he has is there now. He's on the bench. Veart back inside for Wade. Wade was trying to lay it off for Mori. Gray, the touch on for Mori. They're playing with quite a bit of purpose at this stage. Veart's onside. Hoping for the offside. And confusion in the centre of the defence allows Gartien to go free, but Ivanovic keeps his cool at the back. All the Tahiti players have come up, and Ivanovic almost losing out. Good play by Marth to Edwards. Veart and Durakovic are inside. So 15 minutes into this second half, the 60th minute mark, Australia just by that 1 goal from Carl Veart in the 12th minute of the game. It could have been 4 or 5 by now, particularly in the second half.
Lukas could have had his hat-trick.
Edwards, the keeper spilling it. Big Alex Tobin was up there hoping to hook it in. Temarii. It's taken out by Tobin. So Tahiti, who have had very little experience against Australian opposition, they've decided to make the change. Amaru, the player who came in for this game, is going off. And Jean-Luc Rousseau, who, well, he really impressed me last week, the number 7. He's just come back from 3 years of study in France, and there's talk of him going to France to play football. Now Veart. This will be a good experience for him in the second half. The lone man up front, he'll do a lot of shielding. He'll hang on to the ball considerably and look for the midfielders to come through, and they've really done that in the second half.
He had that same job to do for the Socceroos against Poland, and he did do very well that day, and scored a goal.
That made it all up. It was 2-1 at half-time in that game. Australian football has been looking really good.
Let's not talk about the end of the result, but
no. Tobin. He'll get there again too. Can he keep it in? He should. Well done, Alex Tobin. Back inside now for Marth. Oh, geez, he's got some good close in ball control, and one was spearing wide. And really, from that sort of range, you can't blame him to go for it.
Well, he's been shooting with his right foot, left foot. He's involving himself. He's coming forward. He's definitely standing out in my eyes. You won't score unless you shoot.
Exactly, but he usually plays such an important role in the defensive side of things. But this second half, he's been getting forward. He's really looked the goods. And it'll be Marth again. And that goes against Raumati. Wade and Raumati, the 2 number 6s. Wasn't the best of free kicks. Now Temarii, the ball player. So good close control, but he just doesn't have the support in this team. Tobin looks up for some runners, decides against playing it long for Veart. Gray's free on the right side if they want him. Marth goes long for Mori. Lupas there. Oh, nice play, Mori. And the referee pulls it up this time.
We're normally so dangerous from these set pieces. See, well, I believe we have a little bit of aerial dominance.
Well, it was a similar situation when Wade scored the 3rd goal, and he's in the same position. It's at the edge of the box, and it comes from Gray. And Veart lost it in the sun. Rousseau across to Temarii. Wade back for Tobin. An easy one for Tnur. Now Luka. Gray got in there first, and now Ivanovic. And he gets in there too. Wade. Mori. The return, only Veart ahead. Mori. Can't get through. Raumati. Raioha. So after that flurry of activity in the second half, the game has slowed down a tad. Ivanovic. He should have played it back to the keeper Zabica, and Rousseau was trying to chip, I thought, Zabica, but I think Milan perhaps would have been better off playing it back to Zabica, and he could have just cleared it away for him. That's where that back pass rule. This is actually the first time that it's been played with the senior team in Australia, the back pass rule. This is the 3rd game that they've played under the new FIFA rules, but there I thought it would have been better off going back to Zabica. And, well, you know, Durakovic was tripped there, and Raumati can consider himself lucky not to get a yellow.
I'm looking for that red card. I'm waiting for it.
I don't think he'll pull it out. But you'll see on replay here, Durakovic, it was a great run. Looked up, saw Raumati, and it's a blatant body check. The Edwards free kick. Curling away from the keeper. He could only parry it, but luckily for him, Temarii was at the edge of the box. But now for Teuira. Geez, Tahiti are really slow to break from the back. This is where they've got the extra man. They're not really utilising the advantage that they do have.
Yeah, I actually don't understand that line of thinking.
You would think they'd want to get the ball quickly out of there and try and use that extra man, but it hasn't been coming for them at all. Not being disrespectful to Mike Petersen, but Australia have looked a better side, considering they've
well, they are a better side,
but they've lost the extra player.
Yeah, they lost the extra player. Tahiti have actually, they're technical. They can play some good football. It's just I don't understand why they're not pushing forward so much. Better keep my mouth quiet.
Well, they were on this occasion, but in the end, Etaeta just couldn't keep it in. It's fairly cool here at Perry Park now. I must admit, I'm a little bit disappointed with the crowd. I thought it would have been a bigger crowd. Capacity of 8,000. There was about 6,000 here for the New South Wales-Queensland game, and there's not really much happening except for the local rugby union grand final up here, and perhaps a lot of the people are watching the rugby league live from Sydney. But either way, it's the World Cup football that we're all interested in here, as Edwards and Etaeta. Now Mori, and the keeper wouldn't have seen that really. He saved it with his leg.
That was a Jemmy effort.
But it was great play from Edwards and equally impressive work from Damian Mori. A beautiful run here from Alastair Edwards. And the deep ball, and Mori, the angle was so fine.
Good reflexes there. It's good work from both Australians. Damian a little bit unlucky there.
And Mori scored with a header after just 2 minutes last week. And he'd love to get a second goal and just his third international appearance with the senior team.
Just notice he's got that outer belly look.
Outer belly. Here comes the Edwards corner. Wade. Well, it falls back for Edwards. And again, unselfishly inside. And now, Tobin had plenty of time, and still it's in play. And another corner on the far side. And Alex Tobin perhaps had more time than he should have.
Yeah, I don't actually know if Paul Wade meant that header back, but it definitely was good.
And that's quite an interesting view for the keeper. The not on. It'll come, I think, Carl. It'll come. Well, he's been involved in five goal-mouth incidents. And he has scored the goal that shows the scoreline at this stage of 1-0.
Oh, close. Oh, geez, I think he'd really would have loved to put that in. That would have sealed the game for Australia. Could have been 4 for Carl Veart.
I'm glad you said that. Lupas, the defender, finding Rousseau. And Ivanovic away. And look at this, 6 red shirts in a circle here. And only Veart in the centre of them. Raioha. Again away by Ivanovic.
He's got a difficult job, but he has done well in my eyes. Like, I mean, he's missed a few chances, but he's been there at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he still holds the goal that it's keeping straight in front, 1-0.
Certainly is. Temarii's been all over the park today. 70 minutes are up. Veart and Mori. And that would have been interesting if Mori had kept his balance and not been fouled there, because Gray was free on that far side on the right.
He was making a good run at the right.
It was a good run from Gray. And I just noticed that a few of the Socceroos are warming up on that far side. It looks like Brown Tapai, who was out of the starting 11 because of illness, and Aitek Gench. So Edwards up. The keeper out. And the keeper's been much safer in the second half. A shaky start.
It's good to see that Aitek Gench has been called up to the team. I remember him when he was playing for Milan, and I admired him as a player. He's very technical. It's good to see that his efforts have been noticed.
Now Durakovic to Edwards. And this left side has worked very well as well. Durakovic and Edwards. Durakovic will get there. Tourneur, the captain, is right on his heels though. Edwards. He's thinking of Wade. He's looking for someone to come from the back. Tobin. For Durakovic. Tourneur got up there. And Etaeta just knocks it away. Now Temarii. Teuira's on his left. That's a great ball for Teuira. Now Durakovic is scrambling back to pick up on Gartien, and Rousseau has been covered by Tobin in the centre. Back now for Luka.
They've got a few numbers forward.
And again, the build-up's just...
Slow down now.
It's just not really not good enough to really test this defence.
They had the numbers just there when they built up. They had two boys in the centre when the ball went out left.
Waiting.
But slowed it down and played it back.
Well, they're down a goal. You would think with 27 minutes already up in the second half that the intensity would increase somewhat. But that hasn't really been the case. We might even have just the one goal splitting the teams at the end of the day. And will Temarii try his long-range shot? He lines it up, he does. That's not a bad shot. And hooked away. Great work from Alex Tobin. You've got to commend the Adelaide City defender because of the...
Good intuition there, yeah.
Exactly. Tobin did the right thing.
It was an awkward bounce there. Looked like it.
Very awkward for Robert Zabica. This isn't a bad run at all. But back in cover was Alastair Edwards. So some anxious moments for the Coca-Cola Socceroo defence.
Just be very careful back there with the decisions this referee has been making in this game. Penalty, anything's possible.
Now Rousseau. Fresh legs. It's Jean-Luc Rousseau. And the cross, and no threat at all for Zabica. You'll need more than that in the air to beat Zabica. Veart. And he just couldn't get the control he was hoping for. Followed away from him, Mori. Good turn inside on Luka. This is a good run from Damian Mori. That's where he looks really great when he's got that direct run and the shot, and it's all his first at full A international level.
That was unbelievable.
It was right. It was unbelievable. That was always going in though.
Ooh. He hit that, screamed it, right in the top corner. Beauty.
And the relief on the faces of the Socceroos tell the story. Durakovic looked up, it took a touch off Layton. That was the player, and the keeper had no chance in the end. It doesn't matter how they go in, as long as they...
It's in 2-0.
And the keeper, you really couldn't blame him. He had to change direction.
Had a bit of luck there, sort of on the replay. It did hit the player's head. Deflection goal, but they all count. Nevertheless, a beautiful strike. Good goal.
Well, the scales, you could say, have been balanced after the incident involving Mike Petersen. If you've just tuned in, Petersen was sent off in unbelievable fashion. It would have been for dissension, you would think, but he was fouled badly.
And I think that's a great relief there for Eddie Thompson. 2-0 now.
And I wonder how Tahiti will approach it now. And a favourite, well, the scales are
Finally done something right.
Swaying towards Australia. Veart. He'd love to get that second goal he really deserves in this game. Durakovic. And Mehmet Durakovic has been rewarded for a busy game today. A lot of running from Durakovic, particularly in the second half. They've really been playing it down the left. We haven't seen that much of Ian Gray as we did in the first. And it looks like a change will be made, and in fact it will be Brown. Greg Brown will come on for Carl Veart. And Veart 3 goals in 3 internationals, and perhaps a hat-trick today. But either way, I think that he should be happy with the way he should be happy.
He played well, he scored the goal. He did miss a few opportunities there, but I don't think he'll be crucified for that, and he'll probably be there back for the next game too.
Well, it's all an important phase in his career after being an Olyroos, and now Brown comes on in his 11th international.
Goalkeeper reads it well, but he drops it a lot.
Yeah, it's very inconsistent goalkeeping today. And the Tahitian keeper who was newly promoted, Ricky Fassain. Mori. Gray. Now Brown, who started the first game against the Solomons and was replaced. And I know that he is really keen to make amends. Showed some great skills on the right-hand side. Gray looks up and finds Marth. Marth doesn't pull out of challenges like that. There's no need to rush things, as Ian Gray just showed. Hey, and well, was that a foul on Marth?
Touch and go.
Looked like he played for it a little bit, but you'd want to have a look at that on replay. Andrew Marth, busy second half for him today.
Solid boy.
The import manager from Melbourne, Croatia. He looked up, saw the man on him.
That was a foul. That's a foul in my eyes.
I've seen penalties for that. It's really easy to sit up here and pass judgment on the referee, I suppose, Latko. But
well, I'm still waiting for him to even it out. I'm waiting anxiously for that.
I can imagine what the people around Australia are thinking watching this performance. It's not really a performance of World Cup standard from the referee. Now across for Layton. And now on this right side, Etaeta. Temarii knocking it on for Rousseau. Tobin. And Tobin's there though. Goes behind Paul Wade. Ivanovic was hoping to find Wade. Wade will be pulled up. The foul on Raumati. There's no doubts about that one. Well, 2-0, the Coca-Cola Socceroos are leading. Could have been at least 5 or 6.
I predicted 5 before the game. I don't know if I'll see that. But nevertheless, 2-0, it's not a bad result.
It's World Cup football, and it doesn't matter as long as you're at 1 goal, that's all that counts. And Marth, it's an uncharacteristic error, the through ball, there was no one there. Might have thought Veart was up there still.
Yeah, a lot of running from Carl Veart. He had a difficult job.
But there's a lot of positives to come out of this for Australia today. They've really shown some good qualities, particularly the work on the flanks from the likes of the Greys and the Moris and the Durakovic's and the Edwards. They've really worked well on those flanks. The defence has held firm. There's been the one, I would think, the one error from Milan Ivanovic. Instead of playing it back to his keeper and try to take the player on, probably aware of the back pass rule. And the midfield's been really tight today, particularly Petersen. Brown, now he looks up for Edwards. That's not a bad ball, and the keeper spills and regathers. And the foot was outside the area, but the referee says he threw it from within. Australian throw-in. 10 minutes left in the game. The Coca-Cola Socceroos have a 2-goal buffer. It was a good move. Very impressed with that move.
Good turn there from Greg Brown to beat his defender.
And he saw that Edwards was deep, and it was a beautiful cross inside.
Yeah, something Australia's been lacking today. That's about the only thing. Your summary of the game was spot on, but just that final ball just let them down today. And that's something which you can't just practice all the time. The build-up is the most important thing. It's just that final thing. Some days you'll have it, and some days you won't. And today, it didn't fall all together for Australia.
Tahiti have one more game after this against the Solomon Islands. Australia play the Solomons in Newcastle next Saturday. Wade is he's offside. And of course, Tahiti, I mentioned earlier in the day, I didn't get a chance to mention it in full, that this is only their second international against Australia, but fourth experience against Australian opposition. Back in, it was 1960, I think, Apia toured Tahiti in 84, Sydney City toured with Eddie Thompson at the helm. And it looks like a change to be made. Chavez, the number 12, is ready to come on for Tahiti. He wasn't even in the squad last week, and since the new coach was appointed, he's been brought in.
Still have a lot of numbers back. I don't really think they're looking forward to scoring. They're so direct.
They're just not as hungry as they were in Tahiti. They were a different style of side, really. They put together much better moves, and you just wonder whether the coaching changes affected some of the players. Mori, Brown. Good work from Wade. Now Edwards, Durakovic will look for him. That's a beautiful ball. They've been knocking it around well, Australia. And Brown. Edwards is onside, easily onside. There's no way he was offside there. And credit too, though, to Raioha to come across and block.
He's had a lot of work to do today, Alastair Edwards. Down the left side.
Yep, he's done a lot of running. You can see that left eye of Raioha. Must have had some stitches when he was off. Wade. Now Edwards. And he's looking deep for Mori, I would think. There's Mori, too deep though. And Durakovic screaming down, and he keeps it in. Well done, Mehmet Durakovic. Let's run across from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Gray was thinking about long. Goes for Mori though. Too much on that one for Damian Mori. So Australia just going through the motions now, really. The 2 goals, they'll be quite content. Any other goal will be a bonus, but they're really through now. They'll go on to play New Zealand, and that'll be in the end of next May. And Eddie Thompson is pretty confident that quite a few of his European-based players will be available. Marth finding his mark in Mehmet Durakovic. Now Edwards. Gray. Mori's down there if he wants him. This isn't a bad little run from Ian Gray. And Brown, good play back. The referee will let it continue, and this time he's pulled it up for the offside.
I think it was Damian Mori who was offside in that situation.
Yeah, it was hard to tell there whether he was or wasn't. It's touch and go. Linesman's right on the spot there. So there's only just on 5 minutes of normal time left. And the Socceroos are up by those 2 goals. First one to Veart in the first half, and Durakovic in the second. Brown. Brown to Raioha. Easily evades the challenge of Raioha. So Brown will leave it for Edwards. Time running out for Tahiti to salvage something out of the game. First World Cup match at Perry Park. Edwards. Will he try it himself from there? I wouldn't be surprised if he does. He's running out of space. And has he pulled up? Well, I thought he might play a foul, the referee. That's what I might do.
Did well to cut in, but I think he chose the wrong side to go. Bad luck. I think he's won a corner though. Good kick.
Australia have done extremely well. Yeah, there was a bit of pushing and shoving with Edwards and Raumati. And like you said, maybe he's balancing the ledger. Mori's come over. You wonder whether that wall is 10 metres. Now Mori. And the keeper had to have a go at it the second time. Now Teuira. Was hoping to find Etaeta and Edwards. That's right out of the ground.
I could have caught that. Pretty close up to the commentary box there.
Don't worry, you're insured, aren't you?
AMP.
You're covered by insurance? You'd have to be playing in Europe. But this is really a game that Australia should be happy about in the second half, particularly, you know, down to 10 men. And the way they fought on, they really picked up their game, I thought, a tad.
Yeah, they have. The first 15 minutes was, as we saw, they created a few good chances. And once Mike Petersen got sent off, obviously they had to brought an extra spark to the game. And they have the goal now, and that's the important thing at the end of the day.
Look at Wade chasing hard, burrowing away. Oh, that's a great ball with his hand. Well, well, you know, that was going through Damian Mori. He's not even going to pull the card out. Look at this, a blatant hand ball. I've seen players sent off for that in Italy. Diving for the ball in that situation.
Anywhere in the world.
Well, I was just thinking about it because of the Italian football program today on SBS. There's one player sent off for that. But either way, not even a booking. And I'll tell you what, that's interesting because the player who committed that, Layton, the number 5, was booked in the 21st minute of the first half.
I had that running through my mind, I thought.
He was booked in the 21st minute of the first half, and he should have been shown the dressing room.
I told you my hit prediction was right. Could have been.
Could have been. Well, we'll Stabber Marth go for it this time. He will. And straight through, but again, just wide of the mark. But good work from Andrew Marth in the second half. You'd think he was playing more as an attacking midfielder than a central defender.
Well, the Tahitians haven't pushed forward so much, so the job at the back hasn't been too difficult.
They've had so many spare bodies at the back, Australia.
It's clever play, because if we didn't push one player forward, we obviously don't need 4 players to sit back looking after one player.
A bit embarrassing, really, for Tahiti when you think about it. They've got the extra man, and you've got guys like Marth in positions where he could have scored a couple himself.
Just judging from the possession play, you can clearly see that Australia's just too strong for these Tahitians.
Now Mori, good run. Great run, but there in cover was Layton. He's really lucky to be on the pitch, I think. So Ian Gray, he'll go long this time because Wade is waiting. Oh, well, he's gone short. Wade came to him. Now we saw Tobin right on his back. And yes, well, Brown was the man judged offside. They played it well, though. They played that trap well, Tahiti.
Just imagine if they ball there, the way he just flicked it up. It is offside. Yeah, they're playing that well. They did it well in the first half. I noticed a few comments at half-time quoting that, the problem with the offside. And it's been a lot less this second half, but nevertheless, they're still maintaining.
It'll be a different.
Take us offside.
It'll be a different story against the Solomons. They don't really play the offside trap. They actually talking to the Solomon Island officials and players and so on. They were surprised the way Tahiti played the offside trap because they like to play just an open game. They thought it was a bit unfair. But it won't be an easy game next week against the Solomon Islands, as in fact the full-time whistle does go. And sadly for Australia, Mike Petersen won't be playing next week.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing, but he'll be there for the game against New Zealand. That's the most important game.
Yes, that's certainly the case. But either way, I think the 2-0 scoreline is a scoreline that Eddie Thompson should be very happy with overall, considering that he was down to 10 men for a major part of that second half. And I understand that Eddy Thompson is making his way across to Les Murray, but either way, Zlatko, it's World Cup football. It really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter what the final scoreline is, as long as you get your points. Australia are through now. They'll go on to play New Zealand next May, and Eddy Thompson was talking about playing that game late May, and hopefully to get a bit of a hit out against USA apparently, and of course the overseas players, he'd love to have them available. So anyway, let's cross now to Les Mo, who's down on the sideline with the national coach, Eddy Thompson.
Thank you, Andy, and Eddy's with me now. Eddy, a 2-0 victory, surprisingly less than what happened in Papeete, so let's...
El fútbol búlgaro está de moda. Sus jugadores son las estrellas de muchos equipos europeos, pero les falta aún un reto por cumplir: llevar a su país al Mundial de Estados Unidos. No lo tienen fácil. 4 equipos luchan por 2 plazas y Francia parece imparable. Esta noche Bulgaria no puede fallar ante Israel. Ganar y golear es el objetivo. Stoichkov y Penev tienen la palabra.
Saludos, amigas y amigos, de nuevo el fútbol internacional en Antena 3 Televisión, de nuevo un partido de clasificación para el Mundial de Estados Unidos que se va a celebrar el año que viene, y en esta ocasión un partido del grupo sexto de la zona europea con 2 protagonistas. Uno de ellos, esos hombres que están ustedes viendo, son los integrantes de la selección de Israel, que se va a enfrentar en el estadio Vasil Levski de Sofía al anfitrión, a Bulgaria. Bulgaria-Israel, 15º partido del grupo sexto de clasificación, un encuentro muy interesante porque, como han podido oír ustedes en el vídeo anterior, Bulgaria tiene que ganar, no puede fallar, porque si lo hiciera podría tener consecuencias muy negativas de cara a esa posibilidad de acceder a la fase final del Mundial de Estados Unidos. Urruti, buenas noches.
Hola.
Como siempre, nuestro comentarista de excepción en estos encuentros. ¿Cómo ves el partido, Urruti?
Bueno, pues efectivamente el partido lo veo duro, pero el Bulgaria tiene que ir a por todas, tiene que tratar de hacer un buen partido, ganar el encuentro y además, sobre todo, buscar un resultado alto en goles, porque de esa forma puede tener mucho mejor perfilado la clasificación.
Efectivamente, de lo que se trata aquí hoy es de ganar, por supuesto, en cuanto a Bulgaria se refiere, y también de golear. Si lo hace con una diferencia mayor de 3 goles, conseguiría ya equipararse a Francia, al líder del grupo sexto, y superarla en esa clasificación general de este grupo de la zona europea que ustedes están viendo ahora mismo. Francia es líder con 10 puntos en 6 partidos, Bulgaria es segunda con 8 puntos en 6 partidos también, ha perdido 2, Suecia es tercera con 6 puntos, Austria cuarta con 4, y cerrando esa clasificación, Finlandia e Israel, las cenicientas del grupo, que no han ganado ningún partido de los 4 que han jugado y por lo tanto tienen 0 puntos. Es un grupo muy competido, hay 4 equipos, 4 países que optan a esas 2 plazas para llegar a Estados Unidos. Son Francia, Bulgaria, Suecia y Austria. Ahora mismo esos 4 países tienen opciones de estar en Estados Unidos. Por supuesto, Francia es la que más tiene, porque ha ganado todos los encuentros menos 1, precisamente el que perdió ante Bulgaria, y luego Bulgaria, Suecia y Austria, que serán las que, si las cosas siguen tal y como han marchado hasta ahora, serán, decimos, las que tendrán que jugarse y optar a esa segunda plaza. Por supuesto, este encuentro tiene también otros alicientes. Urruti, aquí vamos a ver a jugadores que militan en la Liga Española, jugadores búlgaros, Stoichkov, Penev y Jankov, aunque parece ser que Jankov quizá no esté en la alineación titular, el jugador que ha cedido el Atlético de Madrid al Valladolid. También estará Kyriakov, el jugador también del Betis, Trifón Ivanov, es decir, muchos jugadores de la Liga Española que vamos a ver in situ, que vamos a ver juntos jugando, porque una cosa es ser la estrella de sus clubes respectivos y otra que estén también y lo hagan bien en sus respectivos países. Ahí estamos viendo la alineación de Bulgaria, que va a salir con Mikhailov en la puerta, Kyriakov, Ivanov, Markov, Rakov, Leskov, Iskrenov, Stoichkov, Penev, Sirakov y con el número 11 Balakov. Una alineación en la que prácticamente casi todos sus integrantes juegan fuera de Bulgaria, juegan fuera de su país, y es que hoy el seleccionador Dimitar Penev, el seleccionador búlgaro, ha echado mano de toda su artillería pesada. Ahí vemos ahora mismo la alineación, el 11 titular y los reservas de Israel: Hitbur, Halfon, Hiller, Hassan, Sela, Klimber, Banin, Suarz, Rosenthal, Harachi y con el dorsal número 11, Oana. Una alineación, la de Israel, bastante más joven en edad media que la de Bulgaria. Bulgaria tiene ya jugadores hechos y derechos, jugadores veteranos, y lo que intenta con esta generación de futbolistas, el partido acaba de comenzar, cronómetros en marcha, es conseguir los éxitos a nivel de bloque, a nivel de selección, que individualmente cada uno de ellos están consiguiendo fuera de su país.
Sí, no cabe ninguna duda que son jugadores de una talla internacional reconocida y que efectivamente tienen que, y demuestran, estando en la selección también, que esa categoría pues, efectivamente da como respuesta a estos encuentros donde la clasificación es buena y donde ellos son partícipes de estos éxitos.
Bulgaria, que ha jugado hasta el momento 6 encuentros, ha ganado 4 y ha perdido 2. Ganó en el primer encuentro de esta fase de clasificación el año pasado a Finlandia a domicilio por 3-0, luego ganaría en casa a Francia por 2-0, perdería en Suecia por 2-0 y ganaría también en Israel a domicilio por 2-0. Los últimos partidos han sido contra Austria a domicilio, donde perdió por 3-1, y el último, el pasado 28 de abril, contra Finlandia en casa, y que registró una victoria 2-0, goles de Stoikov y Yankov. Era el primer gol de Stoikov después de una sequía bastante sorprendente en un jugador como él. Hacía 60 días que no marcaba y marcó en ese encuentro de penalti. En la Liga Española esa sequía ha durado un poquito más y se rompió el domingo pasado cuando marcó un gol al Cádiz. Hacía más de 2 meses que Stoikov no marcaba, un hombre que junto con Penev son los encargados de llevar los tantos al marcador de la selección de su país. Israel, que llega evidentemente con la intención de aprender, con la intención de ir conjuntando un equipo cada vez más competitivo. Es evidentemente la cenicienta del grupo, no ha ganado ninguno de sus 4 encuentros, perdió contra Austria por 5-2, contra Suecia por 3-1 en su propia casa, y también en su casa perdió contra Bulgaria el 2 de diciembre del año pasado. Atención, porque es la primera jugada de peligro del partido y podía haber marcado Israel, hubiera sido una sorpresa tremenda. La verdad es que Urruti en esta fase de clasificación, y tuvimos un ejemplo bastante reciente aquí en Antena 3 Televisión en el partido anterior que retransmitimos en Rumanía-Chipre, cuando Chipre se adelantó en el marcador. Y como te comentaba, estamos viviendo bastantes sorpresas de estos equipos en principio modestos, pero que evidentemente están evolucionando y que están alcanzando un nivel cada vez mayor.
Sí, nunca te puedes confiar, porque cualquier equipo ya jugando en estas competiciones, quieras o no, ya tienen una categoría más que demostrada. Lo que pasa es que quizás no tengan el nivel, que por ejemplo en este caso de Bulgaria, pero es evidente que ahora mismo en una jugada han podido sorprender. Se ha quedado bastante parada la defensa de Bulgaria pensando que podía ser fuera de juego y sin embargo no han aprovechado, pero han estado a punto de sorprender en esta jugada.
Una jugada que ocurría cuando estaba ya puesto en el cronómetro el minuto 3 del primer tiempo. Por supuesto, el resultado es de Bulgaria 0, Israel 0 en este estadio nacional Vasil Levski, con capacidad para 70.000 espectadores y que registra una buena entrada. El partido, como comentábamos, para Bulgaria es importante. De hecho, su entrenador, Penev, no ha dudado un instante en traerse a toda su artillería pesada, excepto un hombre, excepto Emil Kostadinov, la estrella del Oporto portugués, que al final, por cuestiones físicas, no ha podido alinearse de salida, tampoco está en el banquillo con su equipo. Y mientras tanto que vemos como Israel, que no tiene ningún tipo de complejo, ninguna presión, aquí vienen a hacerlo lo mejor posible, está de momento Urruti, si no llevando el control del partido, sí acercándose, está jugando al menos en el campo de su rival de Bulgaria.
Sí, está jugando bien, está jugando atrás con presión y además intentando adelantar la defensa para presionar, y es un equipo incomodísimo para Bulgaria, porque me consta de que no les va a dejar recibir la pelota con comodidad y muchísimo menos jugarla. Ahí tenemos un caso de lo que puede ser la mayoría del encuentro, que haya unos marcajes muy pegajosos y que los jugadores búlgaros se encuentren muy incómodos en este campo porque la presión puede ser muy grande.
De momento hemos visto ya uno de esos emparejamientos que parece van a ser definitivos durante todo el partido. El dorsal número 5 de Israel, Sela, que va a ser el encargado de sujetar a Lubopenep, el jugador valencianista, un hombre que también llega a este encuentro en estado de gracia goleadora. Lleva marcados bastantes goles consecutivos en las últimas jornadas ligueras con su equipo. En concreto, el pasado sábado marcó el tanto del triunfo ante el Atlético de Madrid.
Así están ratos, sí.
18 goles, Lubopenep, y es el cuarto goleador, el cuarto pichichi de la Liga Española hasta el momento. Es Leskov, el jugador del Hamburgo. Lo manda ya para Lubopenep. Ispenov. El balón que ha salido fuera y será saque de puerta. La ausencia de Kostadinov es la baja más importante de Bulgaria, mientras que en Israel sí hay otras con respecto a otros encuentros que ha jugado en esta fase de clasificación importantes. Tendríamos que hablar de Zohar, el hombre que ha marcado 2 de los 3 goles que ha cosechado Israel en esta fase de clasificación, también de Ben Simón, de Avi Cohen, los 2 defensas, y de la estrella juvenil de Shlomo Sharf, el seleccionador, Nimni, un hombre que junto con Banin, que sí está en el terreno de juego, con el dorsal número 7, forman un poco la cosecha, la mejor cosecha de hombres jóvenes que el seleccionador de Israel está llevando hacia arriba, está intentando que sean la savia nueva que haga de este equipo, de esta selección de Israel, al menos un conjunto que cree problemas a todos aquellos que se enfrenten a ellos. Es córner. Ahí estamos viendo el banquillo de Bulgaria. Y es Balakov, el jugador del Sporting de Lisboa portugués, el que lanzó ese córner, y esa zurda que ha enganchado no es otra que la de Stoikov. Es un remate ya característico del jugador azulgrana.
Es un jugador que cuando viene palma bien y ha tenido bastante habilidad para empalmarla. Lo que pasa es que no le ha ido a la portería. Me parece que el portero se haya precipitado un poco. En vez de despejar, yo creo que estaba solo como para poder sujetar la pelota, y el balón le ha venido en buenas condiciones a Risto para poder empalmarlo. Risto también, que efectivamente es un goleador nato, y un hombre goleador, si no empieza a meter goles pronto, se suele martirizar bastante. Y ahora parece que ha encontrado la banda otra vez.
La encontró el domingo pasado ante el Cádiz, en un gol que luego celebró con cierta rabia, porque la verdad es que hacía tiempo y ya que no lo hacía, y ya empezaban incluso a decir que qué le pasaba a Stoikov.
No, pero suele pasar, porque basta que
hay rachas.
Sí, y basta que un delantero de esta categoría no meta para que se obsesione, y entonces la obsesión le pueda incluso complicar más esa situación.
El saque de banda de Iskrenov, pero hubo falta dentro del área de Israel, y así lo ha señalado el colegiado del encuentro, el árbitro, el turco Kakar, un hombre que en esta fase de clasificación solo ha arbitrado otro partido, el Checoslovaquia-Islas Feroe, lo que significa que no le ofrecen los partidos más importantes, Suzuki, está claro. Al menos en teoría, ¿no? Luego cualquier partido se puede complicar.
No se le ha visto mucho, ¿no? Este árbitro.
El carácter de Risto Stoikov, un hombre fundamentalmente ganador. Ganador nato. Siempre intenta, por supuesto, ganar. Los partidos nunca se esconde, y eso es algo que siempre hay que agradecer en un jugador de fútbol, además en un jugador de su talla y que cobra muchísimo para para eso, para hacerse ver. Te ríes, eso que no sé si es porque no cobráis muchísimo de...
No, porque el jugador efectivamente es un jugador que lo da todo y es uno de los jugadores que apetece tener en tu equipo, no precisamente a la contra.
Bueno, pues ya a punto casi de llegar al minuto 10 de partido, Bulgaria-Israel desde el Estadio Nacional Vasilevski de Sofía. El resultado empate a 0, no se ha movido todavía el marcador. Bulgaria es la favorita, por supuesto, de este encuentro. Tiene que ganar y tiene que golear, al menos ganar por una diferencia de 3 goles si quiere liderar este grupo 6 de la zona europea. Es Sirako el que lleva la pelota por banda derecha, el balón bombeado, el toque de Stoikov y Iskenov, metió esa pierna izquierda, se le marchó ligeramente desviado el balón a la derecha de Gitbur. El cancerbero israelí Boni Gitbur, uno de los pocos veteranos que tiene Israel, junto con el capitán, con Klinger, de los pocos que superan los 27 años. Israel, que está en la zona europea, cuando no es un país evidentemente del continente europeo por cuestiones políticas, como ustedes ya saben, el boicot de los países árabes ha hecho que esta selección nunca, desde hace mucho tiempo, no haya podido ganarse la clasificación en las competiciones internacionales en su continente, en Asia, y haya tenido que hacerlo en otros. En el anterior, en el de 1990, lo hizo por Oceanía, en este de 1994, el de Estados Unidos, por Europa. Algo que a ellos realmente les interesa, porque de lo que se trata es de aprender y de entrar en las estructuras futbolísticas de Europa.
Mundiales.
Ese es Rosenthal, perdón, es Ronen Harasi. Rosenthal lleva el dorsal número 9, el hombre más conocido del conjunto de Israel, Ronnie Rosenthal, jugador de momento y hasta el 30 de junio del Liverpool de Inglaterra. El balón para Ronen Harasi, intentaba la combinación, ahí estuvo bien Trifón Ivanov, jugador del Betis, que hace